And welcome to Season 2, Episode 10 of CastaBlasta. My name is Brian. With me is Chris.
Hey there, Brian.
And John.
This is how we do it.
So I want to get it.
Wait, what about Jeremy?
Jeremy's going to be here. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Hi, guys.
So right off the bat, I want to say before we dive in any further. So this is episode 10. So this is the end of season 2.
Yeah.
Because we're doing the whole kind of pseudo British thing where we do really short seasons. That way we can take breaks if we're feeling lazy. However, I think what we're gonna do, because there's so much stuff going on right now. Season 3 is just gonna start up right at the normal time. No 2
break.
weeks from now, no break. We're just gonna keep going. We're just gonna chop it up so that we can say we're on season 3 now and make ourselves feel more special. That's the overall
Because 3
plan.
is higher than 2, and that would make us feel better.
That would make us feel a lot better.
It's like progress.
All right, so
Let's do this.
So I was thinking about it a little bit, and we've been going about this all wrong.
Oh, okay.
We do at the top of the show every episode the spoiler heavy stuff, and then we get into news. Shouldn't we have news and then do the spoilers at the end of the show so people can listen to all the news and then we can say spoiler time and they can stop listening?
You are freaking me out.
Well, we have to totally rewrite our topic list and change the order.
You mean, it would be difficult, but I think we can do it. So what do you say?
Right,
we just jump into it that way. Let's dive into the news. There's a lot of great news I want to talk about. And later, of course, we will be talking about 24 and Heroes and Supernatural and Lost and BSG and all those other shows that probably aren't that great. But right now, let's get into some potentially horrible movie news. Brett Ratner, the beautiful, wonderful Brett Ratner.
God, I love that guy.
Who brought us a whole lot of Chris Tucker action.
X-Men 3.
X-Men 3, which many people don't even consider to be an X-Men movie, is set to make a new comic book film. And of course, when you hear that, your heart immediately shrivels a little.
Right.
And then you hear that he's making a movie version of Youngblood. If you do not know what Youngblood is, it is not a very good comic. I would normally say go and check it out and see for yourself, but you know what? Don't bother.
No need.
It's really not that good. It's a brand new comic franchise. Well, brand new in that it wasn't created in the 50s, but created to be like an all new comic universe thing. A lot of money was thrown at it. A lot of different authors worked on it, and it's just not very good. So the great news here is a not very good director got paired with a not very good comic franchise, which will make a not very good film, but one that won't make us angry. So this is really good news.
Right, that's true. The
in
expectations
the long run.
are low out of the get-go.
Not only that, but he's not going to. It's not like Brett Ratner got the license to remake Superman or something like that. Right. So then we're all going to be screaming and going, "Oh my God, this man's about to ruin Superman."
Right.
That being said, I'm sure there'll be sequels. There were 3 Rush Hour movies. Paul Blart Mall Cop was number 1 at the box office.
Wait a minute, did Brett Ratner do Paul Blart?
No,
I think he's just commenting
horrible
on the
movies.
stupidity. Yeah.
Kangaroo Jack was number 1 at the box office when it came out.
Horrible movies.
Wait a minute, did Brett Ratner do Kangaroo Jack?
No, I wish he did.
No, but John's point is that horrible movies sometimes
Such
just won't
as the
die.
kind that Brett Ratner makes tend to do very well at the box office lately. And I'm sure there will be multiple sequels of Youngbloods, which sounds to me like a bad Western.
It's just basically a basic superhero thing. But anyway, if nothing else, at least he's fixating himself and keeping himself occupied on something I don't give a crap about. Right. So that means he's not going to go off ruining X-Men 4 or something like that for us. So that's kind of good news.
Okay.
In other news, of course, this was the Super Bowl recently. We did have that.
Yeah.
We had.
We're going to spend 2 hours talking about that.
That's golf, right?
Yeah.
No.
Wow, we are really not. I did actually watch it. By the way, it was a pretty great Super Bowl. Did any of you guys actually watch it?
It actually was a good Super Bowl.
It was actually pretty phenomenal if you guys didn't watch it. Like, there was literally one point where the one guys in the helmets, like, were about to make a touch the ball down, and they, like, threw it, and they almost had it, and then the other guys in the helmets grabbed it and ran all the way across to the other poles, and everyone was like, yeah, it was great. So,
you're being sarcastic, but it was actually
actually pretty awesome. It was really actually pretty awesome. So, but during that, we got a lot of new trailers. And, well, trailers are exciting for people like us. So I wanted to go over a couple of them because
they're always to try to grab the general public attention trailers.
There was at least 2 trailers on there that speak. If you are between the ages of like 22 and 35, 40, there were 2 trailers there that are going to speak to your inner child. Both Land of the Lost and the new G.I. Joe had teaser trailers during the Super Bowl.
And Star Trek,
okay, we'll get into that. It's a separate thing. So Land of the Lost, they had a new trailer. Of course, the Will Ferrell playing, Marshall, Rick Marshall, and they had Will and Holly, and Now, for those of you who never watched Land of the Lost was a Sid and Marty Krofft live action show with a little bit of like claymated stop action dinosaurs from
Huge
the 70s.
Budget.
Tiny budget.
What?
But the great part about this show, it was cheesy and corny and meant for kids, but it was written by some of the best science fiction writers ever to grace this planet. The story editor on the entire thing was David Gerrold, which of course is one of the guys who basically gave us Star Trek The Next Generation. He wrote the Bible for Star Trek The Next Generation before he left the series. He wrote the Trouble with Tribbles episode of the original series, wrote some of the most amazing novels ever, and we actually had him on the show because he's awesome about 2 seasons ago. But it also had, Larry Niven was involved, Ben Bova, some great people. So it is a hallmark of all sci-fi junkies everywhere that they attached to this show when they were kids.
Yeah.
But now Will Ferrell is destroying it to act silly. So that's all I wanted to say on that.
I agree, actually. John, I'm sensing maybe you don't. But I agree with Brian on this one.
See, my feeling on it is that I watched the show when I was a kid, but it was always because there weren't any other cartoons on.
What?
See, I know.
So you were done watching My Little Pony for the day?
No, I didn't watch My Little Pony.
It was Strawberry Shortcake.
It's not that I hated the show. It's just that I guess I didn't appreciate it on the same level.
You do strike me as a Strawberry Shortcake guy.
She smelled like strawberries.
I could lick her.
You could.
That's all I'm gonna say.
No, okay, so take that off against me. But yeah, I wasn't. It's not that I hated the show. It's just I don't have some kind of attachment to it where I really care if they screw it up.
When we were kids, did you really acknowledge who those writers were?
You know what? That's a good point. Not until a couple of years later, probably it was 5 or 6 years later that I started to realize who some of those people were.
Yeah.
And then but see, that was the thing that got me reading the works of Ben Bova and the works of Larry Niven and David Gerrold, and actually Walter Koenig was even involved, and all these different authors that are
Chekhov?
Don't knock it, man. He does a good job. But that are really phenomenal sci-fi authors, and it kind of compelled people. And so it's been the guilty pleasure of real hardcore sci-fi guys for a long time. The one shining star in this is that the Land of the Lost trailer shows the Sleestaks, the big lizard people, and they look almost identical to the 1970s version, except like with a little better coloring and makeup. Which
and you can't see the joints in their neck.
You can't see where their mask goes on and barely connects. Yeah. Which honestly, that's pretty phenomenal.
Yeah.
But otherwise, it kind of and the fact that in the original it was like a ranger and like his 2 kids, his little boy and girl, and this one it's like his sidekick played by Daniel McBride, who usually drives me friggin' crazy, and then some random hot chick, which I have no problem with.
Daniel McBride's so good in the Foot Fist way though. Did you watch that?
Huh.
It's good.
It's good.
Yeah, that's a watcher.
I go back and forth with Daniel McBride, but anyway, so I'm uncertain. I'm waiting to see when we really get extended trailers for that, really what it looks like.
There you have it.
All right, so now the G.I. Joe trailer though looks frigging ridiculously fun. So so G.I. Joe.
Nobody knows that their operation exists. Why can't they just have an operation that everybody knows about?
And
that's always the case.
And that's what it was. But okay, so the comics and the original cartoon were ridiculous, and there was not a big emphasis put on amazing plots or totally awesome suspense. It was just raw, childish fun.
Yeah.
And that looks like what the movie is. It looks updated, and honestly, I would have preferred a more like 1980s style to it. But that's just me because I'm retarded.
I was expecting.
But I really like the look.
Style.
I like the look.
You mean like in the costumes and stuff?
I wasn't.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just thought for some reason like Watchmen, they really got that balance of the original look, but they modernized it at the same time.
It'd be too ridiculous.
Wait. Hold on. With Watchmen, no, they didn't.
No, they did.
Watchmen looks like the Watchmen.
But like it's not completely like like you look at like some of their outfits and they have a little bit of a modern look to them, like a little bit. Like
I don't.
Wait a minute.
I
Let's
personally
take a poll real quick here.
you look, okay, hold on. You look in the comic and like the one gal, she's wearing cloth here and there. Now in this one, it's like some black leather and a few spots.
Yeah, that's
and
the
stuff like
only
that.
costume that I've noticed a
That's the one I'm
departure
thinking
from.
Okay,
of.
right.
That's the one I'm thinking
and
of. Yeah.
even that, it's pretty similar.
Yeah,
So I'm like,
it's like
come
well,
on.
her costume in the comic book was pretty well.
But it doesn't look
you could
ridiculous.
fight crime in that.
Do you think
No,
it looks
you couldn't.
ridiculous? I don't think it looks ridiculous.
I think it looks great.
we're
And
talking
so-
G.I. Joe?
No, Watchmen.
Oh,
Well, let's get
Watchmen
back
looks
to G.I.
phenomenal.
Joe.
G.I. Joe. But G.I. Joe, I think it looks phenomenal. Honestly, it looks like a cheap movie, like in terms of plot. It looks like
Yeah.
a bit of a throwaway, but it looks really fun. It's Christopher Eccleston's in it, the ninth Doctor Who. So
very good doctor.
He's playing Destro.
very good doctor. He's playing
You're a
Destro.
Deskro.
Come on,
Oh man,
say the name right, man.
Destro.
You're a desk.
So no, John,
Tro.
you're thinking
Ro.
doesn't look so hot though.
No, I think it looks. I think it looks good. I
John
was just
hates
complaining because they always talk about.
Yeah, John hates it.
I don't hate it at all.
Look at what a hater he is.
No, actually, I thought it looked really good. I was kind of excited to see
He's fuming right
Storm
now.
Shadow.
Hey, could you quit throwing
snake
things real
eyes.
quick, John?
We're actually recording this video, so if someone wants to see me throwing things, which I will do. But no, I thought it looked good. I thought it looked good. I'm hoping that they utilize parachutes as much as they do in the cartoon.
Oh, absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah. Here's the
Well,
thing.
they've
if
got
they-
one of the main characters' name is Ripcord. Hello.
Seriously, if they don't have all the toys with parachutes that come with it, I'm gonna be really
Love-
bummed.
Nobody ever
parachute.
died. That was the beauty of the cartoon because it was a cartoon.
Seriously,
There's so much
seriously.
gunfire.
Yeah.
I've actually been hoping that they make the movie modeled after those public service announcement spoof videos, like the guy comes in, pork drop sandwiches, or who wants a body massage. If you guys
Body
haven't seen
massage.
those, do a search for Who Wants a Body Massage PSA. That's worth seeing. All
Okay.
right, so moving right along. I want to say this flat out. I've never been a big Harry Potter guy. I like fantasy just fine, but I'm more sci-fi guy, and I don't like the juvenile fantasy. It's just not my thing for the most part. I did not realize they were making another Harry Potter movie. Somehow this avoided my radar.
Really? Because
Yeah.
that's the plan the whole time was
Yeah.
to make a movie for every single one.
See, once they said, what was it after they made
And
the
they've done
second,
really well. Each
but
one's done
after,
really well.
After they made the second movie, they came out and said, yeah, he's not the kid who plays Harry
Radcliffe.
McPotter, but who was like currently naked in some Broadway play or something. Yeah, he is.
In one that
He's
George
flopping.
Takei had been in too.
He's flopping his wang all over
George
the place
Takei
on
had been
Broadway
in that
right
play.
now.
Is there no decency?
Seriously.
The name of the play
LA
was
though.
Equus.
It is. So they're making a 6th Harry
Did
Potter
George
movie,
Takei flop
and
his?
No.
hold on a sec. And there's a big new poster for it, and that sucks. So moving right along.
Okay.
Right,
thanks,
right.
Brian.
Now wait, let me
See, now
just
I've actually talked to you about these movies before, Brian, and while you're not a fan of the books, you've actually seen the movies.
I've seen all of them. I've seen all 5 of them.
And
Yeah.
and you've actually told me that you've enjoyed them. Let's just get that on the record.
Okay, for one, I was drunk, and
Not
sometimes,
drunk. Not
sometimes
drunk. We've
when
seen
you're
them
drunk,
together.
you know when you like start going, I love you, man, and start hugging everybody.
Yeah.
That's how I
No.
get with Harry Potter when I'm drunk. I'm like, I love
Right.
you, man, but then I wake up and I'm like, wow, I regret saying
That might be true. Not drunk. You were not drunk.
I think these movies are really they've been really good about being as faithful to the books as they can. Which
As
I
faithful
think
as
is
they
a good
can
thing.
since the books are long.
That's great
Yeah.
because they're literary masterpieces. So moving on, Martin Campbell.
I hate
For
you
those
so
of you
much.
who
Moving right
don't
along, huh, Brian?
who don't know Martin Campbell, he's the guy who brought us the director of GoldenEye and Casino Royale, 2 very good James Bond movies.
Yes.
And also the director of the 1973.
Hold on, Brian.
Hold
Pizza's
on,
here.
pizza break.
And we're back from our pizza break.
I feel sick.
So I was talking about porn, I think.
Right.
Well, what the heck was I talking about? Okay. Hold on here. Hold
Martin
on. I get
Campbell.
it. Okay, so Martin Campbell. He directed GoldenEye and Casino Royale.
Yeah.
He also directed a porno comedy. It was kind of like a softcore porn, but it also got an X rating, so it wasn't that
Was I in it?
softcore. Probably. It was in the 1970s, so yes. Called The Sex Thief. So you know the guy has class. He's set to potentially be the guy behind the Green Lantern movie. So that actually could be kind of cool. I mean, the James Bond director doing Green Lantern could really actually work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exciting,
I kinda like
exciting.
that. I
I
kinda
heard
like
they're
that
going to put some real money behind it too. The Green Lantern.
And you know, GoldenEye and Casino Royale have been 2 of the better recent Bond films.
I loved
well,
GoldenEye.
they're both the
Yeah.
reboots of the franchise.
They were both the reboots. Yeah, they were the
Yeah.
ones that made everyone else think, "Hey, we
Yeah.
could really do this."
yeah.
So that could really work out well.
Okay.
So I just wanted to point that out there. That's pretty good news, and maybe it'll become a porno comedy. Green Lantern.
That'd
Who
be
knows?
awesome.
That'd be awesome.
I'm just saying, Martin Campbell, if you're listening, maybe a
You can
little
do a lot of
combination of the
interesting
two.
things at that rate.
Why
The Green
not?
Lantern sex thief, maybe.
It's called synergy, Brian.
It sure as heck is. So Watchmen. I just a little bit of Watchmen news I want to throw out there. If you haven't seen it already, there are fake public service announcements that are basically Watchmen commercials that are fantastic. They're basically just old. They're dated, and they're all about the Keene Act, about the
cool.
Check it.
outlawing the costumed vigilantes and all that sort of thing. It's fake stuff. You can grab it online,
But it's good backstory.
It's great backstory, and if you
love
read the
that.
comics, it's all in the comic. But there just wasn't enough time to include a lot of that stuff in the movie. So they're making this as part of the public service.
That
and
is
advertising.
such a great idea. I really
Yeah.
think that's a great idea.
It's
really,
phenomenal.
And it really gives you confidence on what the movie's going to be like too. I mean, we've already seen the pictures and everything in the screenshots, and there's a lot of good buzz about people
I
who've seen
think-
the footage of it already.
It looks great.
I think at
And,
this point, if they don't deliver, it's going to be a huge disappointment.
But
Oh,
people
man.
people are excited. So I mean, this is just kind of another indication that it's going to be
Every indication is this is awesome, and I'm pumped. I am
that
beyond
they're respecting
pumped.
the material.
Seriously.
Yep.
I mean, it's rare that we actually see that. I mean, with like Dark Knight and all that sort of thing, those were great movies, but they weren't really. I mean, they were more like, the Batman Begins line of comic books, which is not really like the old style Batman at all.
Right.
Right.
Batman
and
evolved so much.
But Batman evolved so much. But you know what I mean? It's not,
Yep.
while they're great and they do hold true to some aspects of it, they don't really, and I don't fault them for this because I love the movies, but they don't
Yeah.
really hold true to the firm of what Batman was. Whereas the Watchmen movie, it looks freaking like the Watchmen comic. And this I really like. And because comic books were made with that in mind. They were really made
With a visual style.
with a visual style. You could really just take it and say, okay, well,
That's
our
the
movie
storyboard.
is now storyboarded.
Yeah.
We're done. Let's just film that.
Well, see, the thing about that is, I mean, with Batman, they have years and years and years to work with. The Watchmen is one set graphic
That's true.
novel.
You're right.
And
Yeah.
that's what they have to work with, period.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, it's more a Bible they can follow, really.
Yeah.
Whereas Batman, there's so many
Batman
interpretations.
changes,
Yeah.
He's different. So
That's true. That's
You
true.
could say the
I-
same about any other superhero as well. Green Lantern that we just mentioned. Who knows what they're going to do
Yeah,
with
and
that?
Yeah, there's
what
lots of different
storyline
approaches
would
they
you
can
would you pick from the Green Lantern?
Right.
Because there are some really phenomenal ones. So
but
there's
your point
also
is
some
still
total
valid,
crap.
I think. It's just
there are some total crap ones. Yeah.
that it looks like they're staying true to it. So
It really makes me happy. In other news, of course, we know inside the Watchmen, there's a comic within a comic called The Black Freighter, where this
Pirates.
kid is on a curb just reading this comic called The Black Freighter, and it is just gritty and horrible, and there's death and despair and nastiness, and it's phenomenal. And of course, they're including the cartoon version, the animated version of The Black Freighter on a special DVD, and they just showed now the custom DVD that's going to come out with the Watchmen movie when
Yeah.
it comes out, and it looks incredible.
it's like
Yeah.
it looks like it's done in the same style
As the comic
Watchmen
book cover,
Right. Yeah.
and that just I love that. I just love the amount of attention and the respect that they're showing.
now
for the
what-
So what it
material.
looks like, pretty much, just to describe it real quick, it's like
it
a
full
smiley face
animation?
with a patch, and then he's still got the blood stain.
Is it full animation,
No,
or is
it's
it like,
No, it's not.
or is it like the cell like they're doing with the current animated Watchmen comic? I mean, what kind of animation is it? It must be just like they're doing with the current Watchmen.
I don't know.
comic,
I
right?
have not watched it yet.
Okay, well, I'm just
Yeah.
wondering if you've seen shots.
I have not. I'm assuming it's going to be visually inspired by the comic because all the rest of it is.
It sounds like Go Town to me.
Go Town indeed.
Moving
Yeah.
on.
All right. So in Marvel related news, so this is just kind of a side thing. We've all known that they're going to be making a Thor movie for some time.
Yes.
And we've also known that Kenneth Branagh, of course, of Wild Wild West fame,
Yes.
is going
Plays
to
a
be
handicapped person.
He does, and I laugh at him. Plays or is going to be directing that film. Well, apparently, if you were on the Twitter, Joe Quesada, who is the editor in chief for Marvel Comics, and Brian Michael Bendis, who is one of the best comic book writers ever. Well, he's definitely in the top 10 in my opinion.
Yeah.
He knows his stuff when it comes to the Marvel universe.
All right.
They were twittering back and forth talking about Kenneth Branagh, about how they had the super secret meeting with Kenneth Branagh and how he quote unquote really gets it. Relating to the Thor comic book and how excited they were. And like, how much can we tell people? Joe Quesada, well, Brian Michael Bendis, I only think we can tell them that we had a meeting and it was awesome. And so that's pretty much the bulk of all the news that's come out about Thor since we learned that they were going to be making the movie.
Fantastic.
So all the news that's coming out is coming out on Twitter. which is
That's pretty
Great.
wild, dude.
That is
Yeah.
on the internet.
that
for
is
people
on
that
the
don't know
internet.
about- yeah.
It's all about the internet. All right, so so there's a few new images and a bit of info coming out about the Terminator 4 movie.
Yeah.
Which
well,
actually,
there's a lot of stuff coming up. The Terminator 4 movie,
yeah,
right?
it's looking
Am I right?
it's looking pretty
There's going to
great.
be robots.
There's going to be robots, but they've been talking a little bit more
The
about
lighting
like,
guy's kind of an ass.
how they're bringing in. So let's not really get into that
I
too
know.
much. But so they've been talking a little bit about how Arnold Schwarzenegger's Terminator, about how he fits into the film, and about how he basically is traveling back in time to the time period that this film takes place in, which is still in the future from us, and all these sorts of things. It actually looks pretty badass. They've shown a few more shots of from the set, and it looks gritty
looking
and
great.
horrible and phenomenal. It looks.
I happened to be at the cinema yesterday seeing Push, which is, by the way, is decent if you want to catch that. And there was a preview for that for Terminator on there that was a lot longer than anything I'd seen before. Extra footage. I'm really excited about it now.
It looks good.
Yeah.
You got to
Yeah.
see it. You got to see Terminator movies when they come out.
Seriously.
Even if they're Terminator 3, you still got to see it.
Yeah, though. Thank God, Terminator 3 is irrelevant now.
Yeah.
Thank God, the TV series just did away with that movie because man,
Terminator 4 is going to open with "Never mind."
My bad.
that's so fantastic. Okay, so let's just keep moving through these things so we can get to the TV shows. So we've also got so James Cameron, of course, from
Titanic?
Terminator.
Oh.
I always confuse those two.
Of course, he's got a new movie coming out, a crazy expensive movie that involves aliens and everything called Avatar.
Yeah.
It's been talked up a lot, saying that this alien is going to look amazing.
Species
And it's-
8472.
and it's got to be really fully CG because there's no way a human being could pull it off.
Right.
Well, and that's James Cameron's thing. Like he's considers himself like a special effects genius.
Right. So now the first leak.
He sank the boat.
He did.
He did sink the boat.
But it looked amazing.
It did look amazing.
And Leo and Kay fell in love.
Though she took her shirt off, and they could have done something there. At
least she had her shirt off, Brian. At least she had her shirt off.
the man makes points. When the man makes points, a man has to listen. So they show this first shot, like a theoretically a leaked shot of what the alien looks like.
Right.
And it looks horrible.
Stupid.
It looks like a cheap 3D video game, and it looks a lot like Abe Sapien from the Hellboy movies, and it looks poorly
Yeah.
done.
Yeah.
Or like
And-
something from Mass
What's up?
Effect.
it looks like something you'd see on a 360, which granted 360s look great, but come on.
Right.
Friggin'
But-
A people. It's like a
but-
$3 trillion movie or something.
Now the alien is supposed to evolve over time, so this
It's
could
supposed to
just
do
be
something,
an early
yeah.
alien. We don't really
It could
know.
be. It
Or
could be.
late
But it just
alien,
looks
who
so
knows?
bad.
I mean, you got to give him a little bit more credit. Like, because it
He
didn't
needs-
look that good, but there's potential.
You know-
there's still a lot we don't know.
There's no information coming out about this movie, and the only time information does come out, it looks so horrible. So
disappointing.
now we're like, okay, the man's spending $1.5 trillion bajillion dollars. He's spending more money than Earth has
Yeah.
on a film to create this cool 3D effect, and you might as well just have shrunk like a 4 foot tall skinny guy in a spandex leotard and ta-da, an alien. That would have looked cooler. So
Right.
How many
I just
4
want to
feet
say
tall
that.
skinny guys do you know?
3.
Well,
I know 3. 3.
right.
Well,
Okay.
3.
I know one.
Yeah, I think we know the same
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
3. So moving along. What else we got here? So the He-Man movie. There's gonna be a He-Man movie. It's looking pretty much set to go. It's gonna be a live action complete. Now let's get this. It's gonna be.
Homoerotic.
It's gonna be a reboot. It's not.
It's not a continuation of those awesome Masters of the Universe films.
No, it's not the Masters of the
what?
Universe
No.
films. It's not a continuation
I
of the
invested all that time.
of the cartoon or anything like that. It's just a reboot, and it's a live action, and it's going to be directed by one of the guys who co-directed Kung
Cameron,
Fu
James Cameron,
Panda.
James Cameron? Oh.
Yes. Well, at least we know they'll get
Panda.
Orko right?
Seriously, yeah. So I have no idea what to think about that. I'm just going to try and not think about it until I see like a trailer or something.
Right,
Yeah.
that's what you got to do.
What
what you
can
gotta do.
So at the same time, over at Fox, they're going to be rebooting Predator. This is kind of official now.
Oh, it is official.
Yeah, it's not like production has not begun or anything, so it could always fall through. But it looks like it really is happening now. They're rebooting the Predator franchise, which
fancy.
doesn't friggin' make any sense.
No, it doesn't.
Because Predator. It doesn't matter. You don't have to reboot it. The only thing with Predator is that there is a Predator. There is this alien race,
Right.
and it can take place
Right.
anywhere at any time.
Well, maybe they didn't like the way that Alien versus Predator made
Yeah,
it seem
I did
like-
not like the way that those movies went.
Yeah.
So if they're just saying they're rebooting it so that
Yeah.
we'll forget about that and try and distance themselves
All right,
from
so
that,
just-
I'm
But,
fine
but then
with it.
but then we lose out on the first Predator, and we lose out on that epic first meeting at the beginning where Arnold Schwarzenegger walks in and goes, "Nice to see you, brother," and they do that whole With
Yeah.
Yeah, tell me how
Another
Arnold
alien that
Schwarzenegger's
keeps saying
involved.
Duran the whole time every time he sees a vision.
Oh yeah. Duran.
Tell me how
Right.
Arnold Schwarzenegger's
Yeah, you're
involved
with
in the
it.
new one, Brian.
I don't believe he is. So that said, though, Adam Sandler is involved theoretically in the
This is gonna be
Green
good.
Hornet movie. Now, here, check this out. So last episode we talked about the Green Hornet movie might be a no-go,
Yeah.
starring Seth Rogen, which could be really, really cool. Depends. But so now it's looking like, you know what, it is probably a go, but they're still working out the details. And now they're talking about Adam Sandler potentially being attached to the project, playing a masked hero. Now, there aren't a whole lot of masked heroes in the Green Hornet universe. There are specifically two, the Lone Ranger and Batman. Now, theoretically, they could make it either, but Adam Sandler as Batman would be the most ridiculous thing I would have ever seen.
It's a step up from George Clooney.
It's a step up from George Clooney. And honestly, it's about on par with Val Kilmer. So I don't know about that. But him playing the Lone Ranger, now the Lone Ranger is the uncle of the Hornet?
I don't know.
Of the Green Hornet. I think that's how it works. The Green Hornet is the nephew or something
Maybe
like that
he'll
of the
be
Lone
Zohan.
Ranger.
He's just a new character.
Yeah,
That'd
maybe
be
we could
great.
just sum
Zohan.
this up and say it's Adam Sandler. It's going to be terrible.
Hey, well, he was good in Punch Drunk Love. He was good in Punch Drunk Love.
Right.
He can take a punch and he can give a punch.
Dude, I like Adam Sandler. but
There have been movies where he is okay.
There have. All right. So also
Gracious.
Tomb Raider. So they're doing another reboot of Tomb Raider. They're basically rebooting franchises constantly right now.
Out of ideas.
So of course Angelina Jolie. Well, that's no good. She looks too much like Lara Croft. So let's reboot that and start it over instead of just coming up with another
But
third
who would,
Tomb
ever
Raider
would they
movie.
find?
Well, they were talking about Megan Fox
Who's that?
from the Transformers movies. You know, you'll remember
I don't
her
spend my time alone
when
thinking
when
about
the when the car hood is open and she's leaning over the engine and the camera
car?
stares at her. Yeah.
Yeah.
The car.
You mean Bumblebee? Yeah.
And apparently she's...
Well, it's
Doesn't
not
know what she's
re-
talking about when
No,
she's talking
wait.
about the engine?
Hold on a second. Jeremy was about to get on my case for not showing proper respect to Bumblebee of the Transformers. However, I would like to say this flat out. Nobody is going to respect Bumblebee more than I. But just the same, that wasn't really Bumblebee we saw up
Bumblebee's-
there.
It's like a
Volkswagen
Mustang.
Bug.
Yeah.
Bumblebee is a
Bumblebee's a
Volkswagen Bug. Right. So he was cool, but that's all there is. Just the same, it was Megan Fox leaning over a car, and so you want her to play Tomb Raider. I don't know if that's actually going to happen. It was rumors, and there's been some that have been saying, no, that's not going to happen.
But
What
there's
what
lots of
have
rumors
you?
saying it is going to happen.
It goes back
Yeah,
and forth.
you know,
What
we
can
don't
you
know
do?
yet.
All
They're
right.
probably in discussion.
I
Maybe
hope they're
what
in
you should
discussion
do is
'cause I
come over to
wanna
my
see-
house and talk to me
Well,
about
here's
it.
the
Yeah.
sad part. So
While wearing
now
the
this will
Tomb Raider
be
outfit.
Drink this.
this will be the second movie rumor of Megan Fox. She was also rumored to be involved in Wonder Woman, and I want to see both of those happen so bad so that we can see her in those
Yeah.
costumes.
The Wonder Woman
and
thing-
she's going to be in an invisible plane if she was in a Wonder Woman. I want to see that. Real
The
bad.
Wonder Woman thing fell flat. That's
it's
been-
Well, that was
sad
like
as
a
hell.
fan created blah hoax.
She's got a lot of tats,
That's real
though. She's
sad.
got a lot of tats.
Oh no, that sounds terrible. So okay, let's move on from the movie news. I want to talk about one more tidbit of news before we dive into TV shows, and that is that Star Trek Online is actually moving forward at Cryptic Studios. Finally, we've got screenshots. They talked about it at the New York Comic
Real
Con this last
screenshots.
week, and it looks, oh my god, in my pants, amazing. That's all I have to say. Is it looks
I
phenomenal.
know. I cannot wait to play that. I will do whatever it takes to play that game.
I can't handle how good it looks.
There is. I will do
A
whatever
massively multiplayer Star Trek game where you can captain your own ship, give orders to your crew, be involved in large-scale fleet battles, as well as beam down to the planets and be involved in all sorts of
Yep.
missions and everything, both
Away
solo
missions
and
on
in
your
teams.
Yeah, but you're going to run
Oh
into
my
people
God.
called like Captain Lol Pones you, you know?
That's okay.
Yes.
Whatever.
Yes, yes,
It's
Do we-
eat my snot.
Awesome.
yeah.
I mean, who here isn't going to try it?
And Kirk
No,
sucks
I'm gonna
penis.
try it.
There's
Yeah.
you're gonna have
Yeah.
Admiral Kirk sucks penis.
Yeah.
Well,
that's
these are
gonna be me,
future
by
names.
the way.
They might not mean the same thing in the future.
That's true. That's true. So it just looks amazing. I wanted to point that out. So
what about the new toys? What about the new Star Trek toys?
we got Star
Tell me
Trek
about 'em.
toys. So now these are all based on the movie.
The movie.
upcoming movie that we're so pissed off about in alternately just disillusioned.
I'm reserving judgment.
So what are you thinking, Chris?
As
Now
am
you
I.
are the Star Trek toy guy.
What?
Now we look up above us right here where we're recording this, and there are about a half dozen good Star Trek toys and another 3 dozen average Star Trek toys
So,
immediately above
what's
us.
your question? What do I think of this toy?
Yeah, what are you thinking
Of the new ship toy?
Of the new ship toy, the bridge
Well,
toys, the dolls. You
think-
love dolls.
The dolls and the bridge toys, those don't really do it for me so much. But the new ship, I've already pre-ordered it because I've got
Have you really?
Got all the other ones.
Yeah, I
You
pre-ordered.
do. He does. He has every iteration of the Enterprise plus a few others just sitting up
I
there.
think that
Right.
Excelsior there. And
Yeah,
Yeah.
and a Borg cube. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
So no, but this new one, I mean, it's got this brand new look.
Yeah.
It looks. I don't know. It looks too
I'll tell you,
much
see,
like a big white
To
plastic
give you a
toy.
point of reference for my favorite design,
I guess
it's
is
like
what it is.
it's like the Excelsior and the Enterprise B. I really thought those were like the pinnacle of the Starship design.
That's true. That's true.
And this
It does
doesn't-
look kind of.
This has stretched. This has stretched,
Nacelles.
nacelles, but I don't know. Other than that,
Nice job, Jeremy.
Thanks.
I'm a little
I've been
nervous.
studying.
We'll see. I'll tell you when I get it.
I just don't like that this is supposed to be the Enterprise A, and we've already
It doesn't
seen
look
the
like it.
Enterprise
It's not
A.
the
Well, it's a
A,
reboot of the
technically.
franchise.
Well, whatever.
Well, it can't be a rebooted franchise because
Well, not
Leonard
totally.
Nimoy as Spock is traveling back in time to hang out with Leonard Nimoy, played by Siler of Heroes, and they're like hanging out having a brewski, and then a guy who is Dr. McCoy, who is still a cadet, which doesn't make any sense because he wouldn't have been a cadet, is coming up to them and he's like, "I'm grumpy." It doesn't make any sense at all.
We don't
it's
know
like
yet. We
it's
don't
almost
know.
a reboot.
It's almost it's like a half reboot.
Yeah.
They're like, we're gonna half reboot it, but we're not gonna tell you which half.
As long as it ends on a very dramatic note with a one chord and then goes to a black screen through a few times throughout the movie.
What is your name? My name is James Tiberius Kirk. Yeah, I can't handle it. I just cannot handle it. So okay, let's move into TV. So if you don't like spoilers, stop now. We're gonna be talking about 24
If you're a
Heroes,
wussy, stop now.
Supernatural, Lost, BSG,
Yeah.
whatnot. So
These are only
just
spoilers
pause
if you
it right
haven't
now.
seen the episodes that have already aired.
Right.
And you're
So
a
we're not
wussy.
going to come over any new stuff. All right. So let's
You're a
let's
baller,
start
go ahead and
off.
listen.
Let's start off with 24. Just because I love friggin' 24 because Jack Bauer kills nobody but does all sorts of good stuff.
Well, actually, he has killed some people.
Yeah,
Well,
he's
he
killing
has
people
now.
He has now.
His now, I don't know. I just got into the first couple of episodes.
Yeah.
He didn't kill anybody, and he like barely hurt anybody. So I
wanted to
just got in the
say,
mood. Of,
I think the season's doing great, and there was a particular.
great show.
There was a particular exchange where they're out in D.C. and this one FBI agent says, "Jack, you can't always break the rules. That's what makes us better than them." And then Jack turns, and it was just I thought really good acting on Kiefer Sutherland's part. And he said, "Not today." And a lot of
That's
actors.
not how he said it, Chris.
Well, whatever. A lot of actors could have screwed that moment up. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like Earth. You know what I mean? An Earth moment with like Rosalind on Earth. So I thought they did a really good job. But
let's
all
not
right.
start in the hating BSG just yet.
Okay,
Yeah,
But no,
so
it is
definitely.
phenomenal. If you haven't been watching 24, don't start now. Go back to the beginning and
Hulu.
catch it. In
Yeah, that's the
Hulu
thing
it
with
in
24.
order. You got to get it in order at
Or
least at the
Netflix.
beginning of the season.
But is anybody here not enjoying John?
Sorry, I'm not. It's not that I don't like it. It's just that I'm not excited about 24 anymore. I've been with it from the beginning.
Sure. Yeah. No. Yeah.
I've watched every season,
Right.
and I was talking to Brian about this earlier, but it's just that I recognize that the last episode that aired was a good episode.
Yeah.
Like there was action, there was urgency, there was everything
Yeah.
that 24 is supposed to have that it's been lacking.
It was
previously.
great. Yeah,
But
you're right. It was amazing.
Yeah, good
it was,
point,
It was
John.
a
Yeah.
very good show, very good episode of 24.
Which part of this do you
all
not
the
like?
same.
That's what it sounds
Oh, okay.
like.
It's just that I'm not excited about watching it. It's good for. It was a good episode of the
Is it
show.
just-
If you like the show, it's good. Personally,
Mm-hmm.
nothing as a show.
Huh.
I'm just not as into it as I used
That
to
sounds like kind of like how I am with gay porn. So all right, let's move right on to Heroes.
The magic is gone.
The magic is gone.
John
I'm
lost
just not
his
interested.
flyer.
I can
I'm
recognize
still
that
gonna
is
watch it. I still
quality
like it
gay
enough to
porn,
watch it.
but I'm just not interested.
You have no spark anymore.
So, but 24, it has been pretty great, much better than
Yeah.
the last season. And the only downside there is, okay, can I give a tiny spoiler of what may be coming? Do you guys
Okay.
care?
Yeah.
Alicia Cuthbert's going to be coming back to this season.
yeah.
For the last like 7 or 6
she's cute.
episodes, she is.
She's
But the
cute,
last
but
the
people
last
hate
couple
her.
hours of
She's
this
so
season,
obnoxious.
she's going to be in it. So.
I was talking to a family friend over the weekend, and they said, "Should I watch this season 24?" I'm like, "Yeah." Like, but is his daughter in it? I'm like, no. Okay,
Jack's
then I'll
daughter's
watch.
coming back. Yeah. So hopefully there's
Yeah.
no mountain lion or cougars or anything in
Yeah.
it, so we'd be okay. So Heroes.
Remember when
What's
she
she
joined
doing in
CTU?
DC?
Remember when she joined CTU for no reason?
Yeah. Well,
Keep
she
her on the
needed a
show.
job.
Yeah.
All right. So Heroes. So
Have
Heroes
we
is
talked about heroes since they've sort of become the villains thing? Did we talk about
No.
heroes in the last?
No.
Not the villains thing. Since they Civil War'd it.
the new thing. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
so the
'cause
last
we haven't talked about that at all.
Yeah, it
the
came
last
back.
the last two episodes. So the season really kicked off with a bang, and the last few episodes have been phenomenal. Basically what they did is they set it up so that Nathan is basically running the government. Basically,
Or at least
he's
this
like
campaign against
he's like
people with
he's
abilities.
like a
Yeah,
head
yeah.
senator, and he's going against the people with abilities. He's going against the X-Men. I mean, the 4400. Right. I mean, the people with abilities, and he's really just trying to tackle them. And all of the superheroes are kind of banding together, and they're going to go kick some ass.
Now, did you think? I mean, this was so obviously an about face. This was so obviously like a, oh man, oh crap, we got to do something.
Yeah, like
so let's make it a few months out
about
in the
all
future.
that stuff that we did.
They changed all the rules. Like they changed everything. Like Peter Petrelli's got a different power now, which is just like he can only absorb one at a time.
And everybody went back to their old job. He's an ambulance worker, and what's his face is a cab driver now.
And Matt Parkman was working security.
Right, and I'm willing to give on some of that because it's so what they need to do, but it does feel very forced.
Yeah.
Right, and see the thing is, here's what they did is they just decided to rewrite it because they liked the characters, but they were too powerful, and it just got boring.
They're like, you know what we need to do is season 1. Let's do season 1.
They just changed the rules, so that way they didn't have to kill off Hero because he was a cool character, but he was too powerful.
Right.
Yep.
Although I'm sure he'll get his power back soon.
At least temporarily.
And Parkman, they're like, oh, let's let him see the future too. Mind reading's not enough. Mind reading, mind control. He can make people have visions.
Right.
And now he can see the future too.
Yeah, I agree.
Honestly, I'm loving it. I mean,
I'm
normally
I'm liking it a lot better than
I am a huge continuity guy, and normally I'm gonna knock on a show for doing a lot of the stuff that they're doing, but they're doing it in such a way as to at the end of this last episode, they had like all the guys. All the heroes, the good guys, were sitting like in a field around a picnic table.
Well, that was a great.
They're like, let's friggin' get rid of our cell phones. We're on the attack now.
That was the.
This is it. This is the beginning.
What's Peter's name? I don't know what the actor's name is.
Milo.
That was the best acting I've ever seen him do.
It was
this entire
phenomenal.
show.
Yeah,
I did. That's like the one scene where I didn't. Like the way he talks and the way he acts didn't make my skin crawl.
It was just great.
It was really good.
Yeah.
His lopsided face didn't upset you either?
These last 2 episodes have been really good. I'm excited to watch the show.
Although, really, come on, he touches the side of a plane and it freezes and busts open. That's so. Come on.
Yeah.
You made a really good point. How cold does a plane have to get
all the time when they're up in the air?
Yeah, it gets really cold up there. So it's not just that it freezes; is it mega freezes?
Oh, they did ask a question because my question was like, why is he scared? He can fly now anyway.
Right.
But apparently he can only have one at a time, which they answer the next.
A lot of people caught that. I did not. Like in that scene.
Yeah,
like,
weirded
I was
me out
reading
at
online.
first
People were
too.
like, "Oh yeah, it looks like you can only retain a power at a time." I was like, "What? Oh, I guess that's what that was." And then he did say it in the next episode. I'm like, "Oh, okay, yeah, they were right."
Yeah.
Which
and it seems to be based on
cool.
who he touches.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he
so
doesn't just have to walk
he
by
has to actually
people
touch someone, and then he has their ability.
Instead of just being around him.
But the duration also appears like when he was flying around the plane, he would like brush up against their knee and he would get the power. But at the end of this last episode, he's hugging Nathan for a while, and it takes like a few minutes before you hear that, and he absorbs his power. So like there was like a duration of time.
Maybe he has to consciously.
Yeah, that's a good point. So I mean, it looks pretty great. Basically, they're making it into it's going to be just an awesome action thing.
Well, they're doing what we said.
They're listening. Yeah.
At the beginning of this season, we said, "Oh man, I thought this was gonna be the season where they all got together."
Yep.
And
And they're doing it.
Yeah.
They're doing it, and they're doing it. Honestly, I feel like they're doing it right.
And they're
Coincidentally-
overcoming the problems of people being too powerful by, it's kind of contrived, but they did it.
Coincidentally, this is after Brian Fuller joined the writing staff, who was the head writer, the creator of Pushing Daisies and Wonder Falls and Dead Like Me, like a bunch of really good stuff. And he was one of the head writers or if not the head writer of the first season, left to do Pushing Daisies. Pushing Daisies gets canceled. He comes back.
Yep.
And now we're getting
better.
Again.
We are. Yeah. They're doing a phenomenal job. I gotta give props to them. They're even making the Sylar storyline good.
Yeah. Although where is that going? Is he just on a daddy quest, or is it going to tie together?
No. There's 2 of them now. So Sylar now has Sylar plus a sidekick. Now they're going to daddy. Now they're going to a daddy. So now they're going to have the 3 guys all related, potentially all evil, potentially all superpowered. So now they're quickly building up 2 separate factions of superheroes outside of the government that can all fighting in a 3-way battle.
I do like that.
That could be seriously hardcore.
There's some interesting things going on with the Petrelli mom, like what's her involvement, and that's interesting. And I also think maybe Claire hasn't been totally obnoxious either.
Yeah, that has been nice. And you
Although
notice
her lipstick in that first episode was definitely obnoxious.
that was a bit.
See,
ridiculous,
that's actually my one complaint is I think Claire's not really very good at acting mean or like upset.
Yeah.
So,
but
that's what she's had to do.
That's true.
That kind of bugs me, but
she's been doing a lot better this season. And now what I'm excited about is they're bringing back the little kid who's good with computers. You can tell because at the end there, Claire gets a cell phone and text message from an unknown person.
Totally who that was.
And and she can reply to it, but it's not a number. So there's
or
the
it
only
could be that chick that was only written about in the comics.
Oh yeah,
No,
yeah,
she was
yeah.
in
She was in one episode. The wireless chick.
in season 1.
Oh yeah, she's dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she's dead. It's got to be
hanging
the
out with
kid
Nuclear Man.
because the kid, the text message that Claire was receiving was all like, I hate them as much as you do.
That's
got to
be him. I forget what his name is.
And
But that's gotta
they
be
were
him.
the ones that
Micah.
from
That's
his point of view were responsible for killing off his mom. So. So this is a big deal. I always liked that kid. I always liked the kid that can go to the ATM, touch it, and get some money. 'Cause I always want to
I want to be that kid.
Yeah, I want to be that
It's like
kid.
John Connor in Terminator 2.
Right.
Right. So that is pretty cool. I'm really, really enjoying it.
John Connor.
Now, I know you guys are not watching Supernatural. It is great. The
I've never
episodes
heard
have
of
been
that before.
great. Watch Supernatural, you guys. Come on, get with the program. Okay, we'll move on to Lost now.
Okay.
Okay, so Lost. Nothing happened and no big deal. Should we move on?
It's really good this year. I really like it. They're answering stuff.
Well,
They
they're
keep answering
also,
stuff.
I don't know. They are answering stuff, but there's a lot of freaking questions. So many questions.
What are your
in the
questions?
video.
What are your questions?
Oh, dude, I was trying to think of before the show, and there's so many of them I can't even verbalize.
Okay, I
them.
got one question that isn't really a question so much as a statement that I would like to be answered to.
Okay.
Okay. How come from a continuity and time travel standpoint it doesn't work? Oh, wait. Let me rephrase that so it works better. How come not only it doesn't work and doesn't make logical sense, but is annoying from the standpoint of character development and story progression?
All right, from
I
time
thought of a few
travel,
questions.
Name one time travel thing that's gotten it right. That Star Trek does not get time
The Voyage
travel.
Home, Star Trek The Voyage Home.
Right.
Sarah Connor Chronicles.
Right?
Sarah Connor Chronicles actually has done a good job. Sarah Connor Chronicles, I mean, come
There's
on.
always stuff
Doctor
like-
Who, timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly, all that good stuff. It
There
works.
are, I admit there are continuity problems in it, but they are trying, I think, harder than a lot of series that incorporate
Yeah,
time travel.
no, they are
Into
thinking
not
about
actually
it.
changing.
You're
All right,
right.
John, let me put this in your face.
Okay.
There's a ton of questions that they've opened up. Daniel, why was he back in the 50s or whatever it was? And then also, how come some people's noses are bleeding and other people's aren't? And then one of the other questions are, who are those people that they were shooting at them that were there on the boat?
Oh, yeah.
We've got to answer that.
Well, there's a lot of stuff.
There's
still.
lots of questions surrounding Locke still. Then there's why is Ben going after what's-her-face's son? And then it's like all this other
What's your face's son? It's all to get everybody back to the islands. What he's doing.
Yeah.
And as far as the noses, they talked about a theory as far as like why they're bleeding, and it has to do with like how long you've been exposed to the island. So I mean,
but
they're bringing it up. They're actually like acknowledging those questions and like thinking about them too. And
But
since the characters don't know,
the
we don't know yet
exposure
either.
thing doesn't make any sense.
Well, maybe not.
No,
But they
it
did.
doesn't. But but I'm still okay with that. If they want to declare that the amount of time,
No, man,
that's
I
a
don't think
factor.
some people's noses can bleed and other people's can't, and there's no arbitrary reason. I mean,
Well, what if there's an effect
Julia's
it has
nose
on
should
the
be
brain?
gushing, or if it's
That's
not
true.
if it's not your length of exposure.
It was bleeding. It was bleeding.
Yeah, it was bleeding.
Julia's
at the end
nose
there.
was bleeding.
But I know, but it should be gushing because the redheaded chick.
Plus, bloodier is funnier.
Yeah. No, I think one of the
Lost is not
one
a
of the
comedy.
interesting things that somebody brought up was
What?
Daniel Faraday asked Miles, the kind of psychic-ish guy.
Oh yeah, and what's going on with him?
He
Come on,
says, like,
Now
"Man, you've
there's-
been here before." Well, guess what? Oh God, I can't remember.
Dude, that's
his
where
name.
we need some answers. is
No,
that
I
dude.
know the answer to this one.
No, why is
The
he?
guy who does the video, he's got a kid that's seen early on in the movie when he's doing the thing. Guess who do you think that is?
Yeah, totally. But
gotta
why
be
can't he
Miles.
talk to dead people?
Why can't he talk to dead people? Who knows? I don't know.
I gotta
I don't
answer
know.
these
Bruce
questions.
Willis can. I mean,
I
why
don't know.
not?
I think I'm
Hurley was talking
really
to dead
interested
people.
in this.
Hurley was talking to dead people.
Oh yeah, what's up with the Hurley talking to Anna Lucia?
Oh, they've been doing that.
I know, but they need to
since
answer it.
season 1. They've been doing that. They've been doing that since season 1.
I don't care how
Jack
long
season
they've
one.
been
Yeah.
screwing up. They need to answer it. I mean, I like the show. Don't get me wrong. I'm enjoying it, but it's like
Okay.
I feel like they're kind of going back to the thing where there's so many questions opening
No,
up again.
I think they're answering a lot, and they're acknowledging the questions that they have. They are raising new ones. They are raising new questions, but
Yeah.
they seem to be answering more than they're asking still.
Which they
And-
have to do. I mean, they're wrapping up, right?
Yeah, and they're wrapping up.
I
and,
hope so.
And I guess they're kind of on the record that they're going to answer a lot more questions, such as like the four-toed statue, which everyone thought was just going to be something that was just random.
Yeah.
But that's real, I guess. And they even...
Do you think they're gonna fall into the trap of having to get a little extra creative to answer some of this stuff? And then
Oh no!
No,
Heaven,
no, actually-
heaven forbid they get extra creative with their millions of dollars that they're paid to be creative.
No, I mean
See,
like force stuff
I
into the
think
storyline.
that there's no
Well, they
way
haven't
they're
been
gonna be able
forced
to
at all
answer
so far.
everything that they brought up, but I do think they're going to try and answer a lot of questions. And now that like the island's going back through time, I think that there's a chance we might get some of the stuff that's. I mean, we might see like early island stuff too.
My
Yeah.
big concern is that just to be like a little bit of a mind game or something, they're gonna leave some huge stuff unanswered just to leave everybody speculating, and then it's gonna be like kind of like the Sopranos approach is like make your own ending. and I really want everything answered.
It's going to be
I don't
something
care if they
like
do
that.
that on some things. I don't think they'll do it on the major things.
I hope not.
But
No, I need them to wrap it all up. Otherwise, I'm going to write the whole thing off as just a big waste of time. What I really want is I want everything to come back to the couple that we got introduced to going to the bathroom, that they got killed because of the diamonds and everything, that nobody liked.
Right.
I was at season 3 where they randomly introduced 2 new people that we'd never seen before, and they
kind of
introduced
them.
and they introduced us to him when when he was going to the restroom.
they kind of acknowledged them 2 weeks ago. Hurley's dad was watching their soap opera.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was.
I didn't notice that.
See
Yeah.
them, but it showed the title of the soap. I can't remember what it was. But
That's
it was,
awesome.
It was there.
Now, see, I want it to all be about them.
What I
Turns
really
out
like that they're
everything's
doing-
going wrong because they killed those
You
guys.
guys have to appreciate this. They are diving headfirst into geek territory. I mean, it is sci-fi.
Yeah, I do agree. It is
There's,
good.
Yeah.
there's a time travel aspect, and they're not shying away from it. You know, it might cost some viewers. It probably will, but you know, they got a deal. They're going to go to the end anyway.
They got to be careful. You can't go too far. They're suddenly SG-1, you know.
But I mean, it is headfirst. They've kind of embraced
Actually,
it.
that would be. I wouldn't mind that.
I agree with you there, John.
There's no ambiguity about it.
They
It's
just become a
it's
crime-fighting
Oh,
force.
I
that
disagree completely.
pilots
I think
It's a sci-fi show. I mean, they're
I think
trying
it's pseudo sci-fi, but I think it's more Grey's Anatomy than sci-fi. Still,
I don't
I mean,
know.
you get
I
the
mean-
moments where
Okay.
Jack calls up. Well, Jack calls up Kate, and he's like, "Hi, Kate," and Kate's like, "Jack, why are you calling me? This affects me emotionally so much, and I've got a child to think about. And where can I see you? Why do you want to see me?" I've just got to. I'm not going to explain it, even though it would make more
Right.
sense from a plot and character standpoint for me to do so.
versus
Hi, Kate, I
am a robot. No feelings.
What are you
They gotta have
talking
something.
about?
They
What
gotta
are you
have
talking
something.
about? What are you talking about? What's this no feelings thing?
What's that girly one that Brian watches all the time?
Gilmore Girls.
No, the one that starts with the one that
He did watch Gilmore Girls. It was on the TV when we came to his house.
I did. I had Gilmore Girls on the TV once. Yeah,
no, the one that starts with a T. I forget what it's called. Oh well.
Torchwood. It's
Torchwood. Yeah, there you go.
dude, Torchwood is not. I'm cool. I'm cool.
Right.
So speaking of shows that are trying to wrap up but doing a horrible job at it, so BSG is still on the air. So now I'm
No, did we
pretty
ever
much.
talk about Battlestar Galactica before on this show?
I don't think so.
So I'm going.
Not
To,
yet,
I'm going to
not yet.
declare that you know what? Because it's so terrible, I'm done talking about it. Unless one of you guys thinks it's an amazing show, and then we can get into it.
I liked the last 2 episodes, not a lot. I really didn't like the first one where Gata goes bad, but the second episode where they wrap it up, I enjoyed.
I agree with Chris. There were some bad parts, and there were some good parts.
There were some parts that like that doesn't make any sense from a character standpoint in that first one.
Way to waffle it.
But that second one where they wrapped up the whole mutiny storyline, I actually thought was pretty good because you had good action. You had Adama doing something besides just being grumpy and drinking, which was awesome.
Yes.
And you had Rosalind who got out of her sweats and went over there and said, "Hey, Cylons, why don't you help a brother out?" And she was all yelling on the thing, which was okay.
Right.
Wait.
Still,
No,
again, didn't need to be a
specifically
sci-fi show. Could have been just a military show.
Now,
but
I
it was
want to
still
be
entertaining.
I want to be clear about this, just so in case you don't know specifically what we're referring to. This is the moment where Rosalind was sitting over there, had a microphone, and she says, and I'm going to try and do the voice as best I can. I'm coming for all of you.
Not necessarily that part.
Yeah, that was
So-
bad. Though. I agree. She did not. I didn't like how she read that line at all.
So pretty
No,
much
no, and they
every
played it
time she's
over and
on
over again on the
screen,
promos.
it's horrible. It ruins everything that might
What
have
is
been
up?
good.
What is up? Are they giving her like one take? I thought that was like a weak part. And Sci-Fi ran that clip all week long.
It was horrible.
But other than that,
Maybe
like
they're just trying to ruin her career.
when she's over there, like stick with
You
Adama.
gotta take it out on someone.
Adama's gonna be the winner. You gotta stick with Adama, and like that was all like very like hey Cylons, don't be a bunch of toasters.
Yeah.
And I thought she did a good job there. And it's nice to see Starbuck not moping around all the time. At least she picked up a gun. And
Although
Apollo,
she was
how
going to
about
up because her guy's dying.
and Paulo picked up a gun. How about that? Yeah, there's that. Well, he's
He
not
actually did
necessarily
something?
dead.
Kinda.
No, I enjoyed the last episode.
And then you have
I will admit it.
and your boy, the original Paulo, Brian, he got some serious screen time. And
No longer.
Zarek. Yeah, they
and-
killed off Zarek and Gay.
But Zarek got an actual send-off instead of like what they could have done, which would have been totally wussy, is just some pathetic ending, or you don't really ever see a closing to his character. At least he got like a freaking memorable closing in this series, right?
Yeah, no, that's true.
Right?
That's true.
Yeah.
And my favorite part, I'm just going to go out and say my favorite part about the last 2 episodes of Battlestar Galactica is that 2 episodes ago they started this whole mutiny storyline, right?
Yeah.
They mixed everything up. People were in brigs and stuff was happening and who might die. Well, luckily, they didn't kill off anyone that was actually plot important, and now everything is exactly back to where it was before the mutiny. So my favorite part was I could have just not watched the last 2 episodes and it would have made no difference to my understanding of the story.
You would have been like, where's Gata?
Although, trust me.
And you would have been like, where's the other guy?
No,
Where's
I wouldn't
Vice
have.
President?
I would have
Where's
assumed that they
killed off
did
the
me.
quorum of the 12.
The quorum, I was going to say, we don't have to listen to those whiners anymore, and that's definitely a positive.
Yeah, that is a positive, and
But
no more of that.
If there was no Gata and no quorum in the next episode and I hadn't seen any of this, I would just have assumed, oh, the writers like me more now. They're not showing me those douchebags.
All right.
So it would have just been a net positive by not having made the last 2
But
episodes.
taking Gata out and taking the quorum out does leave the potential for better story.
Right. For the massive amount of episodes
For
that are
Helen
left.
coming back.
So yeah.
Everybody
so,
excited about Helen coming back?
So they're going to bring back Saul's dead wife.
Yay! Helen, the final
So how many episodes do we
She's
have
also a
left?
Slut.
You
She's
guys.
a dirty slut.
I don't know, like
Is it
4
6?
or something.
know.
Something.
5? It's not that many. So
Too
really,
many.
so they're doing all these things that theoretically, they could set up a big new storyline. No, they don't have time for that. They need to just jump in and frigging do something.
I was watching an episode.
They just had 2 episodes that literally you could have done without. You
Except
did not
they were
need
decent
them.
episodes. They were decent episodes.
But nothing happened. Like
Well,
literally
that
at the
just
end of
happens
it.
sometimes it happens in lots of shows, and they're already screwing up this last season. Like it's already kind of lost.
Yeah.
You might as well just enjoy what is good about it.
You mean like the
I-
space fights? Not too
The
many of
idea
those.
that Helen is the final Cylon makes my skull crush into my brain, and then the shards of skull slice my brain open, and I will die because I hate that idea so much. That's all I just
Wow.
want to say about that.
That is exactly how I
We shouldn't
explained
go on
it
too long about
to
this.
my wife earlier.
But yeah,
So
I know
no,
people
here's-
hate it, but
Well, so here's the thing. I want to address this very, very briefly. People have complained about me talking and us talking about how much we all 4 of us hate BSG.
I don't hate
So
I don't watch it.
and why do we keep talking about it if we hate it? And Jeremy, we were speaking earlier about this, and what it really is that we hate it so much we are forced to talk about it. It's like Hitler.
I think you're saying we
Right.
when you mean you.
No, I think I mean all 4 of us. So Hitler was horrible. So there's all these books written about him.
Yeah.
If Hitler was mediocre and just like an average guy who walked around and was like kind of a douche and he pushed a dude once, we would never talk. We would never talk about Hitler.
So
But
you're saying-
BSG is so bad.
That's
we are
interesting. So
forced
you're
to
comparing
talk
something
about
you
it.
don't like with Nazis. That's weird.
Yeah.
Neat.
Actually, no. I'm not comparing it with Nazis. I'm comparing the comparison.
Oh.
So work that out
Interesting.
in your internet meme. Huh?
Done.
Really?
But I think you just said that BSG is the Hitler of modern sci-fi.
Wow, did Jeremy just say that BSG is the Hitler of modern
yeah,
sci-fi?
Jeremy said that's what Jeremy said.
Wow, that's kind of a strong
offensive.
stance, Jeremy. I was just trying to make like a metaphorical, like
Look,
interesting topic thing
Controversy's good radio.
Yeah.
Here. All right,
okay,
everybody. So what I need everyone to do right now is to go write their congressmen, their senators, and all their local news stations to talk about how CastaBlasta is comparing BSG to Hitler. I would really appreciate that.
So is BSG the last thing we have because we're running up on our time?
we are out of the topics. We're good, and we're done.
Hey, you know what? At least I had something kind of positive to say about Battlestar Galactica.
I liked it.
Wait, you
I
said
liked the
something
last-
positive?
I liked the last 2 as a whole.
I
really didn't. I hated
like
the whole
last
thing.
1.5. I like
Seriously,
That's kinda where I'm at. I'm
what's-
rounding up. I'm
and
rounding up.
At the end of this last episode, Chief is like sitting there and he's like looking at like the side of the of a wall,
What was
and it's
up
a
with that?
crack in it, and then the music swells like it's all dramatic. I'm like, it's just a freaking crack in a wall. I do not give a crap.
I
And he
think
looks at it like it's there.
They're stranded, I think is what the message was there. That the ship, the jump drive is busticated.
You think
No,
that's what
maybe
that
I
is?
didn't get that either. It went over my head.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
that's what I
guessing
thought.
that. I'm guessing.
You know, that's not bad. Okay, it's
what tips
busted.
it off
That's
is
something.
what tips it off is the episode of the next episode. The name of the next episode is something about being stranded or something
It's
like that.
FTL busted.
FTL busted. Plot moving
Hey,
forward.
it was nice also to have the chief do something kind of cool again.
Well, he just crawled.
You mean
Okay,
crawling?
this I disagree with. 'cause
No,
he
no,
just
no,
pretty
no,
much
I don't mean
crawled
what
to a
he
thing.
did.
I know he took out the FTL thing, but
Right, and he just they.
Wait,
At least he did something.
Chris, Jeremy, more Chief crawling in future episodes?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. John?
Okay.
Did you even know they had Jeffrey's tubes on Battlestar
CastaBlasta.
Galactica?
Those weren't Jeffrey's
They
tubes.
were too.
Those were Jeffrey's tubes.
They
Jeffrey's
totally
tubes
were.
are
They
way
totally
more
were.
awesome.
Yeah, but it was with a GE instead of a J.
Right. And also, that's the first time I thought we'd see
Wait,
this.
like Toys R Us? Like the
Yeah,
Oh,
like the drive.
Did anybody think we would ever see at least a part of the FTL drive in this show?
No,
Did you ever think
no.
you'd see part of it at all?
No, I never did.
And we saw part of it.
I was always weirded
Apparently-
out that they never seemed to be working on it.
Apparently, it's like all these large moving parts.
And these like giant pistons.
I thought
These
it was kinda
huge,
neat.
giant
I thought it
pistons.
was neat too. And then
Yeah.
we don't know what's behind that wall that was scratched up, so there's even more there. But
Tribbles.
You know what
it runs on tribbles and treadmills.
That actually would be kind of awesome. All right. So if you want to get a hold of us, CastaBlasta at JupiterBroadcasting.com, or you can go to our forum at JupiterBroadcasting.com/4. And I want to thank everyone for tuning in this week. This whole season, even. We'll see you
Yeah.
all next season, season 3, in 2 weeks from today. Pretty phenomenal
Indistinguishable from
times.
this season.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty much exactly the same. I'm thinking with the same music and everything.
Wow.
But I'm going to say 3 at the beginning instead of 2. So,
Yeah.
you know,
way
excitement.
Let us know what you
different.
think. Give us show ideas. Whatever you want.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody.
See everyone later,
See you
huh?
later.